What's going on, everyone? Alliance Orc here, and welcome back to another video. If you've been following the Alpha News, then you will know that we are going to have one of the most terrifying dungeons coming to Mythic Plus during Season 1 of Midnight. And that is the Pit of Saron. For those who do not know, the Pit of Saron is regarded as one of, if not the hardest, Wrath of the Lich King dungeon. Many people are terrified of this place for its renowned difficulty, difficult boss fights, and very punishing trash mobs. But with that being said, hopefully this video can help you guys out. And make sure to subscribe if you do enjoy, as we upload World of Warcraft content all the time on the channel. So, before we get started, I just need to disclose, because I know they did an overhaul on Grim Patal. This is in the event that they don't overhaul Pit of Saron, which they might, because this was from WoW's 3rd expansion. We are going into WoW's 12th expansion. So yeah, keep that in mind. But with that being said, let's just hop right in, and hopefully, like I said, I can give you guys some clarity on what to expect in this dungeon. So essentially, the trash mobs are very, I guess you could say, like, it's very patrol heavy. If you're tanking this dungeon in a key, you're going to have to be aware of everything at all times. Because the mobs, it's so easy to, like, be dealing with this guy and then someone's not paying attention and they pull this guy. Now that you pulled this guy and everything's scaled to your level, you pull this guy as well, and congratulations, your key is bricked and you just started. Like I said, the trash is very punishing and very unforgiving if you are not careful. But for the most part, the Death Whisper Necrolytes seem to only really do Shadow Bolt. And rule 1 about casts: if it can be interrupted, interrupt it. That is the number one takeaway from these pulls right here, is always make sure you're keeping the Death Whisper Necrolytes interrupted. Because I guarantee you on high keys, those Shadow Bolts are going to hurt. As for the Torturer, I really don't know if the Torturer does anything, but we're going to figure it out. Like, I'm not a Wrath baby, so just keep that in mind. For the most part, it looks like he probably does, like, dispellable dots or something. Like, that one Firecast looked like Flame Shock, but the Shadowcaster, I think, would probably be one of the priority focuses, as I'm quite sure I saw a Seed of Corruption cast from them. I'm just going to wait to see. Yeah, it's really hard to tell what the casts do when you're just... I have no low-level tunes. Let's clear the air on that. So, yep, Seed of Corruption. So, for this pull, if you pull this, you want to focus the Shadowcaster at all time. And make sure Seed of Corruption gets dispelled, because for those who have never played a Warlock, Seed of Corruption will do an explosion followed by ticking damage on everyone in the explosion. The Laborers, I think the only thing you have to worry about with them is they have a shovel bonk that will, like, drop aggro on the tank, if I'm remembering correctly. Again, I've only ever done this dungeon a small amount of times. And I honestly can't remember if the Proto Drake and Skycaller even do anything substantial either. For the most part, I think you'll just want to tank and spank, but as probably face the Proto Drake away, because he does have a Frost Breath strike though, so maybe just focus him. But enough talking about trash. Let's talk about bosses. And the first boss you're probably going to end up encountering here, but keep in mind this dungeon can go 2 different routes, is Forge Master Garfrost. So, something very important to know about Forge Master Garfrost. These Wrathbone Siege Smiths are all part of the fight. So, as soon as you pull one of them, Garfrost will be pulled as well. Now, let's talk about Garfrost's mechanics. The main mechanic he has that you're going to be dealing with is Permafrost, which is going to do a stacking dot on everyone in the raid, and it will increase your frost damage taken by 20%. So 20 times 30, I think at 30 stacks, that's 600% increased damage. Someone could fact check me on that. So essentially, the only way you can drop this is by line of sighting the boss, which is where his second ability, Throw Saronite, comes in. It's exactly what it sounds like. The boss is going to pick a giant glob of that Saronite on his back, and he's going to chuck it at someone. And you use that Saronite to drop your permafrost stacks. And you have to make sure you are paying attention to your debuff, because this will kill you. This will kill you quick. As for his next ability, Thundering Stomp, it's literally just a brief stun. Anytime the boss does this, he will jump to this forge or that forge, and he will begin making one of 2 weapons. The first one being Forge Frozen Blade. This simply gives the boss 100% increased frost damage, meaning healers, you're going to hate your life. And tanks, you may want to have a defensive or 2 ready, because this is going to hurt. As for the Forged Frostborn Mace, this increases his frost damage by 200%. So, yeah. Essentially, this is a boss you're going to want to pop Bloodlust for, if you can afford it, because he hurts. But that's not all he does. He also has an ability called Chilling Wave, which will release a cascade of ice in front of him. So tanks, while you're dealing with everything else in this fight, and keep in mind, tanks, you also have to manage your permafrost stacks as well. But while you're dealing with all of that, you have to make sure Garfrost is not facing the group. Otherwise, everyone's dying. And then his last ability is Deep Freeze. Forge Master Garfrost chills a random player, reducing their movement speed. After 14 seconds, the player becomes frozen and inflicting frost damage and stunning them for 1 second. Sorry, that was my mic. My mic fell over. Sorry about that for anyone whose ears I just ruptured. My mic likes to have a mind of its own sometimes. But yeah, all of that in Garfrost's toolkit. Let me make sure you know what? Let's take off Sack Brood and the Reshi Wraps. And, let's just show you guys what I can show you with this. So, as I said, I kill the ad, Garfrost instantly is engaged. Those little splinters you see coming out of him, that is the Chilling Wave. So, like I said, face him away. My dungeon group would want to be right here. And there's the... Did it miss me? Wow, I can't even showcase the Throw Saronite. That's so stupid. But yeah, behind this boss at all times. That's kind of stupid. I can't even show you guys the but essentially, like I said, this fight is very healer intensive, and it will require you to use a lot of defensives and personals if you have them. Like, if you have them, use them, because this guy absolutely hurts. I'm sorry I can't really show more of what Garfrost has to offer, but you know, you can only do what you can do. Now, something very important for everyone to know is if you take this path, these freed slaves will have a pack ambush them. Tanks, be very aware if you guys try to skip this pack, make sure everyone's on the same page, because let's say you guys rush to Ick and Crick and you're not paying attention, congratulations, your group died and everyone's separated because those guys just came out of nowhere. Because those guys will always jump down and kill those rescued slaves. It's just the way it is. But with all that said and done, let's talk about Ick and Crick. So, Ick and Crick, the fight will end when Ick dies, because Crick gets killed by Scourge Lord Tyrannus, but we'll talk more about him later. Alright, Ick and Crick. This boss has several things going on, and you want to make sure you kill all of these plague-bound horrors before you engage the boss. The first thing Ick and Crick has is an ability called Mighty Kick. This will kick a player backwards and push them back. So in other words, you want to be wary of where you're at all times in the room. Otherwise, you could fly out, aggro something you don't want to, and then everyone hates you because you just bricked the key. The next ability is Pursuit, where Ick will attack a random player and chase them down. While Ick is doing this, he is 50% slower, he does 100% increased damage, and he ignores all threat generation from tanks. Meaning, while Pursuit is up, he's just doing his thing. And if he's chasing you, run. Run, bitch. If you have abilities like Bop or Bubble or Feign Death, you should be able to ignore Pursuit for the most part. But essentially, that is the big thing that's going to happen, is Ick is going to chase you down. It could be a healer, it could be DPS, but 99% of the time, it will not be the tank. As for Poison Nova, it is basically a Poison Nova inflicting nature damage and an additional nature damage over 21 seconds. So when Poison Nova happens, you want to run away from the boss and try to avoid the initial impact. I don't know if the dot is just unavoidable or if it's only if you get hit, but Poison Nova, again, run from the boss. This fight's going to be hell for casters, I'm telling you that right now. The next ability is Explosive Barrage. Now this one is done by Crick, the little gnome. He launches explosive missiles all over the place, and it'll create arcane orbs that just inflate and explode. Inflate and explode. They're very predictable, very easy to see. You just gotta avoid them, though they do come out in many orbs at once. And then Toxic Waste is essentially creating a little slime puddle. Let's use Homeboy as an example. Essentially, that is Toxic Waste in a nutshell. Avoid it, don't get hit by it, and then Shadow Bolt is Shadow Bolt. But let's see how much we can showcase for this fight. As I don't even have taunt. Again, there's Toxic Waste. Toxic Waste. Bro, reset, excuse me? That wasn't supposed to happen. Weird. I never saw that happen before. But yeah, as you see, Crick will randomly just do Shadow Bolt. You can't do anything about it because you can't target Crick. Unless they decide to change that for the Keystone. Okay, see, here's Poison Nova. Okay, so we got hit by that one. There's the dot. It's a poison, which means it can be cleansed if you have that ability. And this is the Explosive Barrage. Since I'm all alone, it's only really prioritizing me. But this is essentially what you're looking at, but just imagine more. Okay, so we're going to see that Poison Nova one more time. Okay, here's Pursuit. As you see, Pursuit Confusion, movement speed reduced, damage increased, cannot be taunted, lasts for like 8 seconds. Alright, so we're going to run away for this Poison Nova, see if we still get the dot. We do not. So as long as you run away from Poison Nova, you will be fine. So that's Garfrost and Ick and Crick explained. Let's talk about some trash. So, again, if you're going to skip trash, if you're going to skip this pack, make sure everyone's on the same page. Because as you see, these Yamar Deathbringers, they come down unaggroable, but if someone falls behind, they're screwed. And this pack, these packs hurt a lot. Because you have essentially 2 casters and 2 melee, or 3 casters. So your interrupts are going to be very scattered. And I think the Flame Bearers do a Hellfire cast. If I am remembering correctly, I might be wrong. But you essentially will probably want to always focus the 3 casters down first, as interrupts not, or cascading off is always a bad thing in keys. But I'd say probably the Deathbringer first. It's to be seen, though. You know, to be seen. And then this is literally just a repeat of the last pack. Oh, I hit Blade Storm. Cool. Alright, so again, mobs are running at you. You can wait for them, or you can charge in, pop Bloodlust, and grab them all. But I do want to talk about these packs real quick, because the Cold Wraiths need to be addressed. What do I mean? I will show you. Freezing Circle. That needs to be interrupted every single time, because it'll create like a little frost ritual looking thing on the floor, and you do not want to get trapped in it, because that is a really bad thing. So for these packs, you want to focus the Cold Wraiths every single time, because it will not be okay if those freezing circles go off. I wanted to see if one of them can hit me, but yeah, I don't think it will. And this video is already taking a day and a half as is. So then this pull, same thing. You know, kill the Wraiths, then the melee guys. Now this cave is a gauntlet. And essentially, once you enter the cave and Tyrannus says bury them alive, you want to avoid all of the runes on the ground, because that symbolizes where ice is going to fall from the sky. And the Wrathbone skeletons spawn endlessly until you get to the end of the cave. I would compare the Glacial Revenant to kind of like a mini-boss, so to say. But aside from that, nothing too overly insane here. Just some fallen warriors, some skeletons. Also, Death Knights, play around with what you can mind control in this dungeon, because I'm quite sure you could probably get away with a lot. Alright, so you made it through the cave, and you reached Scourge Lord Tyrannus and Rhymefang. So let's talk Scourge Lord and Rhymefang. First with Rhymefang, which is the dragon. Rhymefang has two abilities, Icy Blast and Hoarfrost. Icy Blast will breathe ice at a random player's location and inflict frost damage on impact. This will create an ice of patch. The ice persists for 1 minute and inflicts damage to players who stand in it. Anyone caught in it is slowed by 75%. Remember this, as this is going to come into play with Scourge Lord. Hoarfrost, Rhymefang unleashes Hoarfrost, inflicting frost damage to players within 8 yards of the point of impact and stunning them. So Rhymefang is going to target a spot on the ground, and he's basically going to let loose, and you need to run away from that impact spot. Oh, now, Scourge Lord. The Scourge Lord Tyrannus has Forceful Smash, where he will knock players away with a powerful blow. So this is primarily going to be on the tanks. And then this is where Icy Blast comes into play, because he will also do Unholy Power. Unholy Power empowers him with Dark Might, increasing his damage by 100%, but reducing his speed by 50%. This also stacks with the Puddle from Icy Blast, meaning while the tank is running from Scourge Lord Tyrannus, because he's infused and everything, you can kite him through the ice puddles, and he will be slowed even more. But now we need to talk about the two most important abilities in this fight, and that is Overlord's Brand and Mark of Rhymefang. Scourge Lord Tyrannus brands a player with the Mark of Tyrannus, causing all damage done by the branded foe to be mirrored to the caster's primary target, and all healing done by the branded foe be amplified and mirrored to the caster. So what this means is healers, whoever has Overlord's brand, cannot be healed. If you heal them, you heal Tyrannus. If they take damage, wait. So, yeah, this is basically what's going to kill you guys more than anything, because all damage done by the branded target to be mirrored to the... So, okay, I understand now. Sorry, the damage part threw me off. So, essentially, any damage that the branded person takes is going to be sent to the tanks. Any healing the branded person gets is going to be sent to Tyrannus. So, if you have Overlord's brand, avoid everything. Healers, don't heal them. And Mark of Rhymefang is just when Scourge Lord orders Rhymefang to attack a player. But like I said, Overlord's brand, that's what's going to wipe you on this boss more than anything. Like, being an overpowered healer can actually punish you because of this. But with that being said, that's basically Pit of Saron in a nutshell, everyone. I hope you guys like hell, because I can already tell you, this dungeon ain't gonna be pretty. And also, for those who don't have Invincible, time this on a 10, and you basically get a free teleport to Icecrown. Bet you that'll help with Invincible. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, check out some of the other videos I got on the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.